Welcome to Planet Z News. I'm your host, Zachary Bean. Wow. Got my name. Okay. Welcome to Planet Z News. I'm your host, Zachary Breen. I've been beamed up, probed, and probed again, and assimilated to alien culture. My alien captors say they'll let me live as long as I keep bringing you recaps of the Hedges Fantasy Football League. So here we are. But before we start, I'd like to have a moment of silence. Not for what you think. This moment of silence is for pretty much everyone that Justin drafted this season. He's had 2 season-ending injuries, a running back downgraded to punt returner, and still has Jordan Addison on suspension. Justin, buddy, if you wanted to host the show, all you had to do was ask. You don't need to keep hurting these players. These guys have families. But it's not all bad. Rome Odunze did put up 31 points for you, and Devon Achane looks like about the only startable player Miami has. Jake, on the other hand, has bounced back in a big way. Malik Neighbors totaled for almost 40 points, and Drake May tied for the 3rd most points scored by a quarterback on the week. He'll look to keep it up next week against Dillon, where their early point projection has them within a half a point. Speaking of top 3 quarterback performances, we can't forget Dillon and his team's performance. I won't go into too many more details about this matchup, as I have some dear friends that wouldn't like to revisit it. Stacey tried to hang on in this one, but just couldn't get it done. With several okay performances from her team, she only had 2 players score above her defense, which accounted for 15 points on her own. Over in the Twin Bowl, or what's also being called the Wombmates War, Rachel defeats Rebecca by 0.04. Are you kidding me? For you statisticians at home, that's exactly 1 passing point by quarterback Bo Nix. A stellar performance of Rachel's defense was her 2nd best player on her roster, a habit she hopes to break going forward. You know, losing the Twin Bowl by 0.04 of a point is a lot like being the twin that's born just 1 minute after the other. Oh well, a minute late, a point short, as they say. Rebecca had strong performances from her tight end, Tucker Kraft, and will be monitoring the situation with possible injury to quarterback Jaden Daniels. Keeping it up in the mitten for a moment, Shireen slides to 0-2 as her 11th round defense lets her down for the 2nd week in a row. Many people are still wondering what leads to the perennial reach of a defense of such poor caliber. I wouldn't say that, but others are. Granted, if somebody said something like that to me, I wouldn't disagree with them, but I would never say that. But people could. Zachary finds a win in this one, where 3 of his first 4 round picks barely amassed more than 25 points combined. Bailed out by Jamar Chase and J-Mo, analysts are wondering how long he can keep this up. Not long, probably. Now down to Ohio, where Elizabeth handled Jared without breaking a sweat. With strong performances from Jonathan Taylor-Thomas, Patrick Mahomes, and Cedarian Lamb, she finds herself tied for first in the league with 2 wins to start the season. Jared was unable to get a repeat performance out of Justin Fields. Actually, Justin Fields was unable to get a performance out of Justin Fields, as he only completed 3 of his 11 pass attempts before going and getting concussed. Jared has already announced in his press conference that he plans to start Green Bay Packer Jordan Love in his place. And finally, Matthew wins his matchup against Chandel thanks to an incredible game from St. Brown and James Cook. Amon-Ra was the top scorer this week for wide receivers, and James Cook was the 2nd highest scorer on the week for running backs. It's no wonder he was able to rack up a win here and secure his spot tied with his sister at the top of the league. Chandel had a disappointing outcome in her game. Drake London and Sam Laporta, both drafted highly by her team, are no doubt frustrating to see single-digit games from. Another team that took a defense in the 11th round put together a negative 5-point game. She'll look to put it together this week against her rival, Rachel, who some claim stole her championship just a few short years ago. That's all the games from last week, but before I go, I'd like to introduce a new segment, one that I call the Hedge Tucky Derby. Now this could be a lot of fun, and here's how it works. On your screen right now are all of your horses, hand-drawn by yours truly. Now keep an eye on your horse, because these little guys are going to race their way to the end of the track. The first one to reach the carrots will win the race. What do they win, you ask? Well, I happen to know there's a direct correlation between horse luck and fantasy football luck. The winner of the race will be this week's lucky team going into their matchup for the week. So, without further ado, let's get started. And there you have it. Matthew is our lucky team of the week. Don't let that luck go to waste. All right, everyone. That's our show for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all next week.